Welcome to Liamia Art. Today we're going to be making art that's honoring our resilience. We're going to be making this, I'm going to be making this in watercolor, but you can also do this in colored pencil or you can do this in marker if you prefer. So grab your art supplies and let's get started. So we're going to start by acknowledging our challenges, the things that we have gone through that have been hard, tough, pushed us to our limits, the things that have really stretched us. Maybe it's being a new parent, maybe it's grieving the loss of a loved one, or a million other personal challenges that could be yours. So we're going to be making this based off of how a lotus flower grows up and out of the muddy water and the stones to bloom into this beautiful, amazing flower. It's a symbol of resilience. So that's what we're painting. So I started off by making a layer of, like a brown color of muddy water. You can do this in like a light beigey if you have a colored pencil or a marker. I did it in a wash of watercolor and then let it dry. And then we're going to be painting stones. I'm making kind of smaller ones because that's just kind of fun for me. But if you don't have a lot of time, you can also make them a little bigger so they don't take quite as much time to make. But as you're making them, this is when you want to be pondering all the challenges you've been through. Maybe thinking about, did you have a challenging pregnancy or a difficult baby? Have you lost a job and didn't know what you were going to do? Did you lose a loved one that was really important to you? Did you have to leave where you lived and move somewhere else and have to kind of start over? Was that hard? All the different challenges, small or big or whatever they may be for you, as you make each stone. All right, as that bottom level dries, the mud and the stones, I'm going to be making petal-shaped, they're just like, pointy on the top and a little rounded on the outsides. You can't really see it because I'm just doing it in water, but you're going to be making it just in water if you're doing watercolor, and then filling it in with the paint afterwards. I didn't add quite enough water here, so I've got to add a little more water so you can kind of see it show up. And what it's going to do is I'm going to put it at that top point, most of the color, and then it's going to bloom lower as it goes into the bottom part of the petal so that it's soft on the bottom with more color at the top. You can just do this in colored pencil. You could do this in marker. You can do this in like the color itself, a full wash if you want. I just like this extra dimension that it adds because a lotus flower is kind of pinkish on the tip tops, and then as it gets further down towards the bottom, it's more white. So I'm just going with that. I like the look of layering, so I'm letting each petal dry in between my layers. As you can see, I still have some of the pink on my brush here as I'm going. So I'm going to add maybe a little more color up at the tippy top there so it makes it a little brighter, and you can see that it blooms and lowers down further in, getting further into that piece. And like I said, I like the layer look. You don't have to wait until it dries if you don't want to. You can continue to make each petal. But as we're making these petals, this is the time to reflect on what strengths have we discovered about ourselves by going through these challenging times, or what you've learned through the experiences. So there's a ton of things, and in the show notes I'll put a full list of some possible things you could come up with that you may have learned. If sometimes I feel a little stumped and going, what have I learned through this experience? Have I learned anything? And most of the time when I take time to reflect on it, I realize I actually have. It may not have been great to have gone through the experience. I don't think that part was great, but I have learned something. I have grown. And that is something I can take away from it and use positively moving forward. So some things that I just came up with for myself, and like I said, I'll put a whole bunch of different ones in the show notes so you can look at them. But I'm stronger than I realized. I can persevere even when things feel really impossible. I can face challenges with courage. I can be patient with myself. I'm worthy of my own time and attention. And challenges have really shown me what truly matters to me, what's really important to me. So those are just a few, but obviously we all have different experiences, so we learn different things from them. I'm gonna let this dry and then come back to it and add the stem. Now this is coming down from the petals and down throughout the air. I'm using a really deep dark green, it almost looks black. And then I'm gonna go through the stones, just wiggling it around, going through the stones, showing that you have grown and moved through the challenges to bloom and grow into this beautiful person. Now you can leave this artwork done and say, okay, I've thought about my challenges, I've thought about what I've learned and how I've grown through these experiences. Or if you want to go that extra mile, you can write in the stones the challenges you've been through, and then you can write either in the petals or next to the petals the things that you have discovered about yourself and learned through the experiences. So it's up to you whether you want to add these details or to just leave this as an art expressive piece. I often like to put the words in because I like to look back on my pieces of art and reflect when I'm feeling like I need it. Thank you for joining me on this art project today. I hope to see you next time.